Good morning and welcome to the Prime Cap Daily. It is Friday the 19th of October and here are your newsical headlines. Sterling remains, as we speak to you, at the 1.1370 mark against the euro. Now this is reasonably high in comparison to the 110s and 111s of earlier in the year, and it's something of a surprise given the less than positive sentiment that's coming through from both the UK Parliament and indeed the Eurozone following Mrs May's summit earlier in the week. The suggestion that the UK transition period after leaving the European Union might be extended has gone down very badly here at home. Mrs May has been accused of giving away that which was never on the table before in exchange for relatively little. That has had an effect on sterling versus US dollar, which is now down at the 1.303 mark. Hopefully we can keep above the 130 level for the foreseeable future. Staying at the 1.3 mark is probably more a reflection of underlying stability rather than necessarily productivity, but stability within the UK economy. An interesting currency pair is sterling to Australian dollar. The pound was riding high above the 1.85 mark earlier this week and indeed into last. However, now it finds itself at the 1.83 level, which is... We thought we'd briefly touch on some of the little banners that you sometimes see up in the top corner of our page as we're talking to you on the Prime Cap Daily. These are not sponsors. One of our Twitter followers asked us whether or not these are businesses or partners that are sponsoring the Prime Cap Daily. They are not. They are simply businesses that we know, like and trust. So Joro Experiences is one of our clients and they provide amazing, jaw-dropping adventures around the globe. The Private Client Dining Club is a networking event and forum that we attend regularly. They have a dinner coming up in November, and Hand Luggage Only is one of Europe's leading travel blogs, and we recommend that you Google Hand Luggage Only, check out their feeds, check out them on YouTube, Instagram, and indeed Twitter. They have amazing imagery of their travels globally, and we love reading about them. Into next week, it will be a case of the clock ticking, the egg timer draining away. How long do we have? Can it be achieved before even November? The French and indeed the Germans, so Mr Macron and Mrs Merkel, talking about scrapping their December summit, pseudo-summit, because not enough progress has been made. This will be relatively damaging. Again, the argument that sterling weakness has been priced in, that the hard Brexit or perhaps even no deal has been priced into the rate of exchange is a strong one given where the pound remains, but there's all to play for between now and March. Key question will be, as we approach the end of the year, if discord pervades and persists, how will the EU 27 ratify what is presented to them in time for March? This is one of the key questions, the key concerns. We'll say again though, no deal does not necessarily mean no deal ever. In terms of legislation, in terms of the government's response, they are not going to permit all of the catastrophic effects that have been suggested by the likes of the French and indeed some institutions in the UK. Medicinal stockpiling, illegal immigration status for those based in France. We'll take a punt here and say that just simply is not going to happen. We may leave without a deal, but the authorities and those in power will not permit for that to happen. And it may mean strong and harsh concessions on the part of the United Kingdom that it displease portions of the Conservative Party, but we think it's going to be more or less life as usual. It'll be played out across the political spectrum and indeed maybe the financial one with regards to rates of exchange, but for you and I on Main Street, we're not going to wake up the day after no deal was struck to find that the world is materially different. Thank you very much for your kind attendance, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.